I call the meeting to order at 5 o'clock. Lost my agenda already. Okay, we still haven't approved the minutes from April 3rd, but we'll wait for until Dylan gets to another meeting. So,
I'll make a
do
motion.
you have any amendments or changes to the minutes?
No, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from last
April 18th.
April 18th meeting. Yep.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Gonna sign the warrants as we go. Did we have any abatements?
No. Oh, wait,
Yeah, we do.
those are the people that participated in the lead and copper.
Okay, so this is all
Yeah,
the basic charge.
yeah. Because it went up 60, that's why it's not, it's.
Yeah. Do you know about that? When Wayne has to do the lead and copper sampling, we have a program so people volunteer to do it.
And these are credits to their bill.
We give their credit off their basic charge if they allow them to use them for samples.
Don't I have something like that?
So you were supposed to get one for us using you as a water testing spot.
Okay.
I mean, they use my house, I don't care. They use my mother's house when they.
Nope.
I would prefer to, like, I'd like to move your, we have, when we fail in the same 3 spots. My house, your house, and the tank. So, water doesn't move very much in that area.
Why is that?
I can't tell. Like, we've tested all of the valves, all the way down North Elm, up Crescent.
Even the hundreds of houses across the street on Brewster and Hartshorn and all those.
Yeah, I can't test in there, right? But yeah, those would be on the same water supply.
Right.
Yeah, there's not, you would think that it would move, it doesn't.
Well, that just dead end loops.
It
back
gets
through
worse
there.
as we get
That's
to
just pulling
summer.
off South Elm.
Like right now, we're testing fine, and you get hints of the chlorine smell lately. But you can't taste it, and that's the good thing. But as we get to summer and that 5 million gallons of water heats up, it goes the other way.
And that is kind of pinned along South Elm. Along Elm Street, right?
Yeah,
Right, North Elm.
right, yeah, I don't, anywhere else I don't have issues, but that one.
But
you would
you've
think-
got that big tank sitting there and the water's gotta go, that's where it comes out to.
Yeah,
So
So
that's probably
what,
why.
what does North Elm Street tie onto at 106? Does it tie into on anything down there, or is it?
no, it's tied in, yeah, the whole town is pretty much a grid. I think it ties into a 6-inch, off the top of my head. Yeah, they ran big mains around the outskirts, but they didn't run down through the center.
Down the center. They were looking for growth for businesses back in the day.
The dangerous ones, I'm the only one that has to sign on these.
Yeah, I believe,
Right, and
yeah,
then we all sign the front.
yeah.
All the order line.
Yeah, the guy, poor guy was getting excited because one dates back to October, the other one dates back to January, but for some reason, I don't think we ever received them.
No, Tater and Howard hasn't dated February, so they must just never sent them to us.
Yeah.
So these, just if I may, Mr. Chairman, these bills for the town of Easton, so these are the water service the town supplies to our residents in West Bridgewater for water. Is that what we're?
From Easton.
Yeah, yes, they have their own meters in the houses, they wouldn't let us meter it, so whatever, they should have let them take the customers.
It almost seems like it would've made more sense.
Yes, because now we have to maintain that water main, that it's not our water in it, and we have to maintain the customers. And Easton has a higher thing, like they charge you, if you call them for something, you get charged for a guy in a truck. And then when the residents do that, then we get the bill.
Can we move along while you're?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Okay, no, it's fine. water ban you have on the.
I did. So I have to certify again that we're gonna institute our water ban. I would like to try odd even. I did a lot of research today in the times when I wasn't multitasking, and it seems like our residents are really overwatering their lawns big time. I don't know, cause my lawn's green now, only cause it's getting rained on.
Yep.
But it seems like we're overwatering, and it's a big burden on the system. Once they all flick on their systems, they're watering in the morning, they're watering at night. You know, we go up over 1 million gallons a day, or right at 1 million, and that's capacity. We lost Manley Street over the weekend because the PLC burnt out. So for 2 days, we were running flat out on one station. So it's concerns like that bother me, because when we go into summer, if that same thing happens again, then in no way can I keep up. We go backwards. We start drawing down on the 5 million gallon tank. And then we're at the mercy of hoping that nothing burns out elsewhere. I've been chasing Mike that's our instrument guy,
Yep.
to replace those PLCs. He finally got the hint, and I received a quote. So
What's a PLC, Mike?
Programmable Logic Controller. It's basically a computer. It's just a computer that holds the program that operates the station. So that it tells it, to turn on, turn off, ramp the pumps up, ramp the pumps down. But there are multiple ones. Each station has at least one. Manly has, I believe, 6. So it's gonna be $50,000, and I just told him to do it because he's running out of spares, and you can't get them anymore.
Are they outdated?
Yeah, they're probably about 19 years old. So I've been chasing him, and he finally got the hint because he's running out of parts.
Well, Manley Street, that stuff will all be replaced with the.
Well, it wouldn't. So that was something that was hidden. I knew that was sitting there, so rather than pay an engineering cost and a contractor and pay up fees, that's why I was trying to get it done in advance. So it should happen.
Okay. Do you think the odd even days
I
for
think
watering will?
If we can get half of the people with sprinklers to apply or adhere to it, then yeah, it would slow it down a bit. I mean, truly, we're gonna jump. In the winter time, we're about 400,000 to 500,000 gallons a day. And we're beginning to ramp up now because people are calling in asking about the water ban, so they're already turning them on even though they don't need it. And truly, I did research growing grass and the amount of water. Most of the things all right around 1 inch to 1.5 inches of rain a week.
A week.
Not in one morning.
Particularly in the morning when it's also raining.
Right, and there are those people that don't have the rain sensors, and you go by them. I know the guy down Matfield Street, he has a well, but he loves to run his during the rain.
Well, that's on him though.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to try that, I don't have a problem with it, as long as, if it's going to work, you're going to have to go around right in the beginning
Well,
and
so
look for the people who aren't doing it, or else as soon as they see their neighbor.
I've been sitting on the consumer confidence report because it's got to be mailed out. So if I'm doing one mailing for the same cost, or maybe just a penny or two more, I can add another mailing.
With the CC?
Yeah. And I tried to explain it. I put in things. We'll post it up on the town website so that they can just click the links there instead of trying to type in that gobbledygook of code.
Okay.
I mean, it can be reworded in any word. I'm kind of blunt because I've always
It gets to
written
the point.
instructional manuals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm not.
No, less is best. I think it gets to the point so they're aware of what's going on.
This way, nobody can say that they didn't see the sign, they didn't see it on the town's website. They
Yeah, but
personally
I'm not
received it.
quite sure what this, unless I'm reading it wrong. If you have an even numbered house,
Yep.
watering is allowed from 5 p.m. until 9 a.m., no watering from 9 to 5 when the sun is up. If you're an odd numbered house, watering is allowed from 5 until 9, no watering from 9 to 5.
Yep.
Isn't it day restrictions?
Well, it is, so
But it doesn't say that in this.
right, that's why even odd, so I'll change that to make it more clearer.
So like odd can do it Monday or whatever, but
Yes.
it's odd number days. You just,
Right, I'll spell it out a little better.
yeah,
I'll send-
otherwise, that's the first thing I'm gonna say, well, I have an odd numbered house, it's between, you know, you're not saying which days they can water,
Yeah.
they can't water.
Only on, odd, or even.
Yeah, oh, I understand.
I know,
But it's just,
I just threw that together quickly
Yeah.
in between everything else that's going on, so.
you're gonna send it out with the lawn watering fact sheet links and everything?
Yep, that way they can see, like, truly it's, I understand a green lawn looks better than the dead crabgrass I have growing at my house, but,
Don't have to cut dead crabgrass.
yeah, I know, I loved last summer, because I didn't have to start that lawnmower for almost 2 months.
I can put this on the website or.
Yeah, I just
website too.
Yeah, we'll just have to finesse it, I'll have everybody look at it and
Yeah,
make
just
sure it's.
email it out and, but yeah, they don't, you have any problem with that going out?
Nope.
We'll try that and like, and you got the thing in, if the advisory's upgraded, we'll have to,
Yeah.
we can always shut them down
Right,
if we have to.
that, we won't have a choice then, that's, the
Yep.
state does that.
We'll try it and see what happens. Even if all it does is cut a little bit out of the peak on the
Right.
real bad days.
If I can get
Just to maintain the.
half the people, even 25%, it's still better than none, it's.
So what happens if you do drop below whatever the limit is on the 5 million gallon tank? Is it something that it's hard to,
So if you get down to about.
I understand the PSI thing, but I'm just talking about the volume. I mean, can you recoup during the night?
I cannot recoup. When we
Not
drop
that
down
much.
during the summertime, if we drop down and I don't get 3 days of rain, I can't catch up. And that happened when I was having the tank inspected. We still had the water ban on, they wouldn't shut them off, and I couldn't get the tank back. It took almost a week, and then it took 3 rainy days back to back to do it. So we finally
That's a
found
lot
out.
of water to put in, to try to put in.
Yeah,
people
because it's
with
like
people.
110,000 gallons a foot or something.
But that is something that we're gonna have to, I mean, it sucks to have people driving around knocking on doors, but if people are
Oh, yeah.
watering when they're not supposed to be,
Yeah,
and it's causing us a problem, we're gonna have to do something about it. We've got a fine system in place.
right. Well, it's in the rules and regulations that we don't have to notify anybody, because residents are not always user-friendly. There are some really good ones,
Yeah.
and then there can be the ugly scene. And I already had a guy telling me I jumped his 6-foot fence and ran through his things, and it's somebody I knew and was trying to just say friendly like, and we got like 5 calls that we had a water main break from the amount of water he was pouring down the road. So when he called up to complain, he didn't understand. I kept trying to tell him, it's me that was there. He's like, your guy jumped over my 6-foot fence, and well, on my best day, I don't think I could have done
That's
that.
pretty good for you.
I know. But the good thing is I had a witness, because I won't do anything without a witness anymore.
No, you should, anything dealing with the residents, you should always have somebody. All right, anything else on the water ban stuff?
No, it's informative.
Move along to stations 1, 2, and 4.
All right, we're still waiting on the grain sand filter.
The Dan Chris is all, everything's all set to go now, the stuff, did we get back what you gave him at the meeting?
Dan Chris.
Oh, wait, no, no, that's station 3, never mind.
Yeah,
Never mind,
that'll be next time.
that's the next one,
So Dan Chris he came, he did his measuring on Friday.
okay.
They did a lot of measuring. And like he just sent in those invoices so that you just signed, so.
Well, that's, I mean, if they did the work that long ago and catering out to prove them that
Well, it's
long
not,
ago.
he was getting excited because I heard it from him several times and I'm like, we've signed everything. And then James was telling him, no, they could sign at the last meeting. So earlier today, he emailed me asking me and I'm like, all right, just email me the invoices so I can search our system. I mean, if they're here, you know, I'll admit if I did something wrong and we misplaced something, but we never received them.
Well, taken care of now.
Yep.
So, in Station 3, no schedule or anything on that,
I have
right?
not
That's
heard.
just, but they did at least come up.
Yeah, he did, the stone in the thing, I don't think they were expecting that,
Oh, they looked into the filter?
yeah. I told everybody when they came that the cap was off, I always
Yeah.
offered to bring the ladder
Yeah, I
over.
was there. You did.
Well, nobody wanted to look in it. So I guess they've got to remove that stone, it doesn't, the media does not need it. I don't know how it stops, there must be a fine mesh screen, why would
So they
the...
gotta have something to keep the media from.
Right,
going
because
out.
that's what stops the green sand, it hits the stone underbelly and that's, you know, it sits on that.
So, it's on them.
Yep.
Okay, replacement well.
Looking up to the start, I have no idea when those VFDs are gonna come. They don't know either. We've been waiting more than a year for variable frequency drives so we can slow down the pumps. When the new well produced, you probably already heard it, but it produced so much water, it took the transformer out on the pole.
Yeah, we talked about that last meeting.
Yep.
Need a better transformer.
Yeah.
Probably take just as long to get that as the VFDs.
Yeah.
So, still, it's just whatever. We're at the mercy.
Yeah.
And
Supply chain.
Yeah. Truly, it is loaded. If you've looked inside one, there's nothing but microchips in it.
Okay. Walnut Street tank.
I read the report.
I did too.
The talk about the age, the see like 54 days turnover in the tank, and like, there's a lot. That's a long time for water to be sitting in a tank.
Well, they spent a bunch of time on stuff that really wasn't kind of in with, the initial age stuff was.
Right.
Then they spent a bunch of time on changing things at Spring Street,
Yeah.
which doesn't help us at Walnut Street, which was the whole
Right.
point of,
I mean, if you drop
Okay.
down low enough when you start filling, but if the water if the, you know, the C factor, the restrictions getting to Walnut Street are so great, you're still gonna fill the North Elm Street, the Spring Street tanks before you get to Walnut Street. It'll just do it by, you know, gravity. When the system shuts down, it still has the tanks will shift position, but we're not gonna get them filled. They're too far out in the system, and there's too many twist turns, you know.
that's why you have to shut the Spring Street tanks off.
I was down by Gowell's Candy in Brockton, like,
Yeah.
they're getting ready to replace a water main, so they have the replacement, they have a, you know, temporary up on the sidewalks on either side, and that's how you do it, and you can run a brand new straight main. You know, ours are always done tied in, so you come down, now you have to jog to the next one, and
Right.
you jog back, so you've got all of these 90-degree turns everywhere in the system. And so that doesn't help you at any point with flow. And that's why if I turn up the water here, you hit, I don't know how, you probably hit 6 90-degree turns before you get to the 12-inch. So you stir up everything that's been sitting there.
But the Manley Street wells wouldn't be supplying the water for the Walnut Street tank?
So they don't, maybe
It's
they're not
not-
moving
I mean-
fast enough because we can't run up to 500 gallons a minute it was designed for. You know, when I started here, we were about 400. We might have been 425, but it quickly began to drop. We had the Stantec come in at one point because I couldn't get the iron levels down. And I'm sure that cost us $5,000 for the day, but in the end, the engineer didn't know either. So the next day I slowed the plant down and, you know, lo and behold, we could meet our iron
Which is
manganese
why we
removal.
want to add the filter.
Right,
Yeah.
that's why I need that filter back into it, because with the iron levels are going up and.
Yeah, you can get the water, you just can't treat the water.
Right, I can't treat it.
Okay, I get it. That makes sense.
So when that job's done up there, that should be taken care of.
Yeah, that'll be part of the long term to bring it back.
But even then, if we can shut that off those tanks at Spring Street, you can then fill that up, then let everything float back
Right.
down. So we can at least, because we're missing a lot of water in that Walnut Street tank.
Yeah, no, that's what I also saw that with the levels, because
Yeah.
they talked about the, did I send you the report?
Email,
Do you have problems sleeping at night?
yeah, you take my copy.
To read it?
I mean, they were very thorough, they just
Yeah.
spent 4 out of the 7 scenarios they didn't really need to look at for what we were asking them to do. But that water age, that's a long time.
That's a long time.
About 5 million gallons is a lot of water.
But that was
System
in
that
the old
sucks.
days, that was you build a big honking tank and you got a lot of water. But once you get down below 75 feet, you start shutting off areas of the town. The areas where he said there would be low pressure, like the Walnut Street area, that's wrong. That's not where we're gonna see it first. I know the 2 streets we'll see it on. Maybe 3.
So below 75 feet, so that's what, about 35 pounds, so that would be,
Yeah, it's 131 per foot, yeah.
and there'd be areas of town that would be affected by that?
Yes. Oh
So
yeah, there's.
what is it normally? What do you like to keep it at?
We run, right now we run between 99 and 105.
Really?
Yeah.
But then we're not turning over much in the tanks, the problem.
No, it's, yeah.
So,
And we used to run less than that. I opened up the gap to try to, because we're having so much
Yeah.
problems with the bacteria. And I'd like to open it further, but I'm just afraid as we go into summer that I'll get down and then I can't recoup.
Well, the people are using the same amount of water. You should start recovering sooner
Right.
if you let it come down further.
Yeah, I'll
So you
try.
should, it should be able to,
I'll drop it 1 more foot, I'll bring it,
See
we'll
what
run
it does.
98 to 105, and then I'll see how it goes. Because it gives the wells recharge times, that dwell
Yeah.
period helps a lot.
yeah, let things shut down and recover for a little while.
Yeah.
All right. We'll look at it a little more and maybe get some comments back to James and
Yeah.
see where they go from there. Now, the fun one, composting facility.
Alright, so I submitted the letter,
That's the planning board meeting?
and now the planning board meeting is on Wednesday, May 17th at 7:30 p.m. I forget what they called it, but it didn't. I have it, I can give you a copy of the notice if you want it.
You've got one, I think.
Oh, alright, yeah, I did
Yeah,
make
that's
copies, the day's a blur.
Contractor's office and storage yard.
Yeah. What's he doing on the Brockton side there?
Was there an office building on our side?
No, there's nothing, the whole area is blank, but he's put in a lot of money putting in infrastructure. He's put in drainage, he's run water, he's built a bridge. He's moving gravel around, so he's trying to do something. I understand he wants to make money, but that's on zone 2, it's.
Yeah.
But it's only zone 2 up to the border of Brockton and us, because there's no
Right.
longer zone 2 in Brockton because of,
Yeah,
So it actually, the zone 2 cuts across our property,
right,
right? The line, the actual
Yeah.
line is in, it doesn't extend into, the zone 2 does extend into Brockton a little bit, doesn't it?
yeah, but I'm
But
not sure.
not-
our
not at
maps,
that
'cause
property.
A lot of our maps, they cut the thing right out.
Yeah. Now, the state one doesn't though.
Yeah, I think I looked at the
The
state
state
one.
GIS one. And that shows it going over.
Yeah, our PFAS level was 20
money.
on Manley Street, so we've taken on a lot of rain lately, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna hope that the end of the month, because it's a quarterly average, so our first one is 19.2, the second one is 20. We're still under if we average with just those 2, but if I take a third one with the higher number and it's got more than a 0.8 at the end, it's gonna average above and I'll have to do a mailing.
What are the numbers again for, so the state,
So the state's current MCL is 20,
20, okay,
but we know that the federal level government is gonna set it at 4,
4
but that's probably a year out.
parts per trillion.
Yeah.
Which means everything's gonna be over. It
Yeah.
doesn't-
Right.
I mean, if it comes over and you have to send a letter, you have to send a letter.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that's all it is. It's been low for all this time.
Right.
So if it spikes and drops, it's not like, the health effect is long-term. You're not
Right.
getting that number long-term, so.
Yeah, we still have residents coming down here getting water.
That's fine. I mean, it's what it's there for.
Right, and they ask questions and I answer them. I'm always glad to talk about what I do.
Yeah. Are you doing anything different over at Manly as far as backwashing?
We still try to backwash with the air scour in front of, the day before sampling
Okay.
to see if that, but it's, when we get this much water, it happened last year, that's when our spike was, so.
Yeah. Okay. Anything new on the solar field stuff?
They asked for more information on nameplates and stuff, and they spotted some areas where they wanted to put panels, so I responded back to where they were putting them, where they couldn't put them, and showed them other areas where they could, and so we'll see. But it really looked like they were only looking here, not anywhere else, so I'll have to,
You mean our other properties?
yeah, so I'll give them a few more maps, but with Norman Ave it would be hard, because if you're gonna build a plant there,
Yeah.
there's nothing you can really do until that happens.
Where else we looking for, like the Rotary Farm, put a great big solar farm back there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the job posting you saw that he
Yeah, we've got was it the 16th?
something like that, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I've gotten some good reviews about him, so as long as he's staying disgruntled over there, that's fine. I've heard he's a good worker.
Alright, no, bring them in and see.
Yeah.
We have spots to fill.
Yeah.
Okay, Plymouth County, ARPA?
I tried getting in today, but for some reason, I don't know whether the system was timing out. I wasn't getting the code in time. I've heard I was. Either way, I couldn't get it to authenticate, so I'm not sure what's going on, so I'll try again tomorrow.
They have like a help desk or something that if it keeps
Well, I'm
not
not listed.
authenticating, you can,
I'm not listed as the user.
What is
I don't
our
know
one?
what- American Rescue something.
recovery.
Oh,
No, that,
oh, yeah, okay, recovery.
Yeah.
Who's listed as a user?
It's David and Linda.
Oh,
If you just, whatever.
okay.
But I tried repeatedly, and that's 30 minutes of my time. I gave up. Capital projects, they're still all accepted. I got the
Yeah.
things. The budget still, I haven't had any new inputs, so
So we still don't know like the,
I don't know the insurance costs. And I remember it didn't happen until right in front of.
alright. So we're all set for town meeting, you don't have anything?
No, I don't have any
outstanding,
special-
everything's
I'll-
set?
I'll stand up there and I'll speak to it.
Okay. Water rates and service fees.
So truly, we're charging $400 for the meter install on a new house. It cost us $658.19. You may want to just vote to up that to $700 to cover any future rises.
Yep.
So we have, that's for what, a 1 inch, 3/4?
5/8?
That's for a 1 inch.
1 inch meter?
Yeah, I didn't bother looking at the 3/4. Because we don't allow any new houses with that.
What's the average size? Is it 5/8 that you use?
So in the town, most of the residents are 5/8, but
Yeah.
that's just when we do meter replacements. We have to replace a valve in their house.
So if someone puts a 1-inch water service in, they go to the 1-inch meter.
Yeah, so they have to pay the upgrade fee. Most do not, so when they replace the service, they just do in kind. That's why I was asking you the last meeting where the commercial building was, they run larger sizes to it and then, down. We don't allow the residents to do that because you have more availability of water. We did a test, several tests, and you can get more water from a 1-inch pipe than you can. But if you're restricted at the meter, it's still restricted.
Right.
So you think it's $700?
Yeah, I mean, it will cover the cost. I don't
We're
see
gonna
anything.
break even.
I mean, is that, but the cost you're saying it costs us is just materials, does that include our guys' time out there?
That doesn't, I didn't,
That's just materials.
yeah, that's just materials. I didn't include our time, you know, that would probably, if one guy should be able to do it in less than an hour. Yeah, you'd just be adding $30 and that's, if you did
Oh,
700, you're covering it anyways.
Would you like to make a motion, sir?
I'd make the motion, but it's so what are we looking at for numbers then? We're looking at for 700 for the materials and then another,
So basically for
We charge
a
a flat.
new house, it's $700. You know, that, when we remeter the town, that's on us, we do that.
Okay.
So you don't see.
so
anything.
right now it's four, what'd you say?
It's 400,
400.
yeah.
And it costs us?
Six.
It cost us close to $700.
Well, we have to at least break even.
Yeah. You,
So is 7 sufficient?
Price is still going more up than down, right?
yeah, well, I
Fittings and
don't
stuff.
foresee them coming back down. You know, if you buy ice cream, the price didn't come down, but that container sure got a lot smaller.
Inflation, that's not happening with meters.
Yeah, and I don't see the meters shrinking down. And brass is still, because of the no lead brass prices probably went up when
Yeah.
I had to go to no lead brass. And the no lead valves, it's, you know, everything became no low lead, so that's probably when we saw our biggest increases in price.
So I'll make a motion, make it 750, and that way it covers an hour or so of your time.
Yeah.
And we don't necessarily have to jump it right away, it should give us a little breathing room.
Yeah.
I'll second. All in favor?
Alright,
Aye. Opposed? Dylan? Nope.
Post immediately.
Okay, the water department service tie-ins.
Alright, so I did make a couple of calls. I got through to some. I had to have time, but I did get things that, like, one town, they do it when they decide, but they don't have people either. So just like, you know, we're doing Matfield Woods, I think I emailed you to include that there. That got away from us.
The big vault.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's it was
well, it's a
way
big vault.
Yeah, it was beyond our
But
capability.
bit off a little more than the children.
Well, we got down into the water table because the old meters didn't have strainers on them so that you could get lower to the ground with it. But the new meters come with a big strainer on it, so it had to be higher up. That meant the bottom went down. So once we hit the water table, it's looking like, when you look at it, it's like a kid in a sandbox versus what they brought in for a machine. And 3 scoops, it took us 3 days.
I know.
And Mark is working with us, he's helping us a lot to save money by having us run for materials and stuff like that. He's really good. I'm happy that he took on a job he didn't really need. And it helped us a lot.
Oh, it's right down the street.
Yeah, and I could see his Volvo sitting there. I'm like, that big machine is just sitting there. It looks better sitting on our site than it.
No, he's glad to help. I mean, he's done a lot.
I mean, he can pick up our machine with
I
his
know.
bucket.
Yeah. Plus a safety issue as well. I mean, you do
It was
use the right equipment.
usually like, I
Someone's
couldn't.
not gonna get hurt.
Usually what we do is bench it out so that we can be in there, but the sidewalk was right there, we were collapsing, the sidewalk was collapsing to us, so I couldn't get away from it. And he had the trench box to
Yep.
do it.
Yep. That's what he does for work.
Right, and he talked about that, you know, it's unsafe. And it's set, the tank is supposed to arrive on Wednesday at 9 AM, so it's ready to drop right in place.
And when do you think you'll have a meter running for him, the new meter in the vault?
Give us a couple of weeks so that I can get everything aligned, because then it's working within. We have to put the meter into the vault before the top gets put on it.
Yep.
So we've got it over in the station, and we'll put it together and we'll drop it in.
So how does that work now? The existing homes in the park have their individual meters?
No, they have one master meter.
They have one master meter.
Yeah, because
Just like Beacon.
right. Yeah, because they didn't. They're allowed to sub-meter. It's on them, but it requires that they do. There are steps. Like Matfield Woods was looking into it, and I met with them and their lawyer and stuff, and he knew what to do and how to do it. We've met with both park owners at one point or another. One knew better than the other, so it's up to them to figure out. But the meter it's underperforming their current meter. So it needed to be
Is
replaced.
it the original meter, almost 40 years old?
It's not a fire rated meter, it should have never been installed. I've been here 17 plus years, it was supposed to be replaced for 17 plus years. So it's taken me a year to get it there, and we're,
So at least be in, and hopefully we'll get
yeah.
good readings, we won't get complaints about what the water is going in and what he's getting billed.
Right, and so I did speak to towns like, the town of Norton, they do it, if they have people, they decide, for the most part it gets outsourced. He couldn't tell me what it cost, he understands the cost, and he also understands the OSHA impact. So it's, you know, it's closing in on us that, you know, a water main break is different, it washes away so you can really bench out, but when we're doing service tie-ins, it's hard for us to, you know, take up enough road, we can't work fast enough.
Okay.
So Norton just looks at the job and says, yeah, we'll do it for for whatever their fee is, or they tell them to call the contractor.
Yep, they go out, they still charge, you know, like we do system, I saw system distribution fees in the various towns and stuff. So that, you know, towns still do that. It's just they pick and choose, and he said, we really only pick the easy ones.
So what are you suggesting?
I prefer that it's all outsourced, because that way we don't have to deal with it. It ties us up for 2 days. You know, in the old days, the water came up out of the ground, you just pumped it. You had time and guys, because now you didn't have to do anything. And then in the 70s, corrosion control occurred, and then you had these buildings. And they were good, but as we draw on the same wells, our iron and manganese levels are going up, so that's why we're having these other issues, and we're building plants. So the plants require work within them. Like if you go in Manley Street, you haven't been in Manley Street yet, have you? It still looks good. We maintain it. We paint it. It's a good-looking plant.
I was in there when you constructed it.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Yep, and it doesn't look a lot different today because we keep it painted. We don't let anything, you know, get run down in there.
20 years ago. What was it?
Yeah, more than 10.
20.
Well, it was just before I got here, so it's like
25.
almost 18 years or 19 years.
No, but they have to be maintained, if, you know, things break anyway, if it's not maintained, they break more frequently, you get, things get corroded.
And I don't have the crew to get across on Manley Street. I can't get across on North Main or South Main.
And you're losing money.
Right, and we're, like I said, I added up those costs, and we're charging 1,500 or $2 grand for a 1 inch, and the costs are $5 grand and above. Norton talked about how he knew they were subsidizing when they do it. But it's all coming down to money, and we're not getting any more revenue from anywhere, so it's just trying to, what we're paying for is the cost of what we're paying for. So truly, if we did it, and honestly, I'm sure the residents, when they have to pay a system distribution fee, and then they have to pay an equal or greater amount for us to tie them in, it's easier to let them go find contractors, and then they can gripe at them. And then the town can stop griping at us that we're messing up their roads. They can chase them for infrareds if it has to be done.
They'd still be overseen by one guy,
We'd still have to
From
let
us,
them
so
sit,
that-
so it'd just be one guy.
so that would include them putting the tap, putting the
Right.
operation, running the whole thing over, setting the curb box.
Yeah, what I did is,
Well, I'd like to see one of your guys, our guys, there during the course of the day.
Yeah, well, we
the
wouldn't-
entire day,
Yeah.
so something isn't.
Yeah, but then that's all they have to be
Just
for
supervise.
is that, not be there for the
No.
paving and everything
No,
else.
just the actual
Yeah.
digging the road, make sure the valves have proper sand coverage and no rocks and things of that nature in there.
like a lot of towns have this, like we don't even, people just show up, hey, I'm putting in a water service today, and they expect us to have people standing around. A lot of the towns all have applications. You come in and apply, you just don't, hey, I'm doing something today. I don't have people to spare. I think creating something like this or molding a few together and then have you guys look at it
Yeah,
and come
Yeah,
up.
if you want, would we have to change our procedures, like our policies or something?
Probably just to add it in that you
Require-
have
No,
to.
I think it's stupid
It's
to
always
let them
been a-
come in and just do it.
Right, it's
Yeah.
always been a procedure that they're supposed to give us plans. The house plans we barely ever get. One of them even distinctly says that they want the septic plan too, or shown on the plan.
Yeah, that's what Easton's,
Right.
it says septic plan shown the septic and the sewer.
They don't care when they run a water line, but they're supposed to be 10 feet away.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wanna mark something like this up and bring it back like for the next meeting, we'll put it, that's something that's crazy that they've been doing that.
Right.
They should be able to come straight in and.
And they get aggravated when we're like, oh, I don't have time today. It's like, you can't just call us up. You know, I've got somebody else, so there's 2 guys plus me, and we were doing Matfield Woods.
Well, you're not gonna change over to polyethylene, are you? Gonna keep it at copper?
Yeah, because there was a news article on the, yeah, we'd stay with copper. There was a news article on PVC.
What, something new coming out of them or something?
Yeah, I didn't get to read the full context, but it was, yeah, it was against it. Some other health concern.
You look at anything long enough and they're gonna find something.
Yeah, I know.
That's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
So let's see, we have not actually voted on stopping doing service.
No.
Can we wait till next meeting?
I was gonna say, do you wanna do it or wait till the full?
I'd say we wait
for
for
the
next
full board.
full
Give
board.
Dylan a chance to, you know,
Yes.
Yeah.
get his name
Yep.
and something here to get yelled at.
See, you know that. It's the
No,
smart
I mean,
thing to do for the.
It makes sense, we can't, if we're losing money and it's not, if we had plenty of people, it'd just
Right.
be, no, fine, increase the cost, like we
Yeah.
just did with the meters, but, I mean, especially, or, you know, somebody else did the paving, something like that, but if we gotta do all that,
Right.
and if we have to go back over days,
No, because it's a day, truly, it's almost 3 days. It's the day of digging, that's a full crew plus myself
Yeah,
there.
that's most of a week. If something happens at another location, or I mean, your hands are tied. There's nothing you can do.
No, then we're running around.
Then you're in trouble.
We're working
And it's
short-handed
panic
then.
mode.
Yeah,
so for construction-wise stuff, then you'd basically be putting in the meters, and
Yeah.
you'd be responding to breaks.
right. Yeah.
You wouldn't be getting, or if there's like little, like yard piping things at the plants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna be dealing with piping around the streets and,
No,
you know,
right. And I never operate in panic mode. Actually, I like that. What the worse it gets.
Stress level high.
It always seems to be that way here.
all right, yeah, so just make sure that vote's on the agenda for the next
Yeah,
meeting. Hopefully Dylan's plane comes in.
yeah. Well, as long as it's not American Airlines, that's the one that's gonna go on strike.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that. Probably is.
Alright, that's that.
That gets us through the agenda. Do we have anything new on anything else we need to?
Well, I did spend money for the PLCs, and I had to call in Mark, so you guys could redress me and send me on vacation for 2 weeks, as punishment. I'll accept that. I won't whine too much, I'll be unhappy, but
I kind of figure you probably figured out how you were spending that money, and we've already got it to spend.
I'm hoping.
so-
I was doing the budget, going through the numbers today, looking at that.
Well, I mean, sometimes you have to do.
I didn't have a choice. Like the pit was an emergency. I've got 14 truckloads of dirt out of this hole.
No, and if the question is ever you do something unsafe, you spend the money and get it done safe, you do it the safe way.
Yep.
You don't want to lose anybody.
No,
That's just not a.
that was not the intent.
No. Oh, you did what you had to do. I don't have
Right.
a problem with that.
Something.
Nice try, though.
We'll see what his bill is next month when it,
It is what it is.
I'm just kidding.
And he was good for helping us out.
Yep. No, he's known for that.
It's close by, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not like you have to take the machine all that far.
Well, he's got a lot of equipment, so he doesn't do that sitting around waiting for me to call.
Right.
All right, anything else, John, for
Um,
this evening?
did we, just to get back to what we talked about last week about the house, the 24 units, whatever is like the honeydew. Did we ever come up with the sizing of that water service? What are they,
So I told him that we won't, I left it to him. It's not up to us to size it. I think he'd be sadly mistaken if he runs 24 apartments through a 1-inch meter. Not that
it's
it
not
wouldn't
gonna
do
happen.
It would probably do it, but the guys at the top, when the people at the bottom turn on their water to fill their tubs.
Right, I thought, didn't we vote, thought we voted minimum 2 inch. We're discussing minimum two.
Yeah, to discuss it.
Okay.
I don't
Didn't
know
actually
if,
vote.
well, I don't know if we have the authority to,
Plumbing code has jurisdiction over that.
yeah,
So what, if we have it some worded, so it complies with 248 CMR,
What is it called?
248 CMR.
we gotta throw
So the
some.
water service shall comply with 248 CMR. It's like section 1069, we'll just hold off on it, as long as it complies with.
Yeah, if you can give her the
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
reference.
because then we can put it in the, we'll put it on the agenda to.
Yep.
when
Yeah,
do the
we
service
agreed
times.
they needed to use at least a
Yeah.
2-inch meter, but that was,
Yeah, and I told them, like, the apartment complexes down the road, they all have 2-inch meters in them. It's-
yes.
Well, as long as we just fall back and say that it must comply to 248 CMR, and that way they can argue it with the plumbing inspector and from there.
The plumbing engineer should be, or mechanical.
The engineer would know.
Yeah, they should be doing, sizing it that way anyway, if they're sizing,
Right.
when they size all the plumbing for the building.
Yeah,
Because that's the code they have to do it under.
But do they all adhere to that?
What code?
But see,
For buildings like that, they really ought, because if they start having problems, they can get into some
this is just,
trouble.
but the plumbing code states that you can be any jurisdiction of an engineer. You could be,
Yeah,
whatever, a civil engineer to design, you don't have to be a mechanical engineer, you can be a sanitary engineer, whatever, so it's as long as there's an engineer stamp on it. But the local authority having jurisdiction with the plumbing inspector.
and that's,
ours is a stickler.
and 586 Manley, they did another flow test, it still came back, you know, on the bottom end, so he'll either need a tank, he might need a tank, so I put them in touch with Tatter and Howard, whatever they do, because I told him we have a full model, he could model, you know, eventually while the street's gonna come back online. So it would, you know, I put them two in touch so that I'm not in the middle of it.
Yeah, because they should support the pressure, so, the good
Yeah.
amount over there. What about the, that yard you sent the email?
Oh, he's great guns, there were machines digging all over the place, like,
Did you get a response from conservation or anybody else on the
and he was
list?
supposed to go back out there, I did see silt fence suddenly appeared.
Okay,
And they, you know, I don't know the 25, 50 foot and the 100 foot no touch zones or whatever, but they're really close.
well, after you sent that, we had some rain, and I was walking the dogs over the brook, and I noticed that was coming down awful brown in that direction.
Right, because that pond across the street drains over to that side of the road.
Yeah.
Like, that should have all been wetlands.
Well, hopefully they'll get that taken care of. And you just noticed that because you were down there doing the,
The flow test,
The
I
flow
spotted
test.
the machines. Like, I don't know how they allow angle parking of box trucks off of the main road, but it's not my spot.
nope.
Okay,
Anything else?
nothing.
Next meeting, Monday, May 15th.
It's an actual Monday.
Oh, the other thing is, the person speculating for the car wash, I don't know what they're really looking, I told them that the water department's not in the, business of speculating for future tie-ins, just like they don't wanna pay for their tie-ins, so I don't know what's going on there. But I don't think they wanna pay for their 2-inch tie-in until they get all of their permits lined up. So I told them if they, you know, they want, they can come before the board. I gave them the phone number and the time, the days that we meet.
Yeah.
And said, you know, you can come before, but I told them that the water department's not in the business of speculating for water, future water services.
Yeah, we're not
Just-
putting,
What's the cost of a 2-inch tie-in?
Well, if $1,000 for 100 feet of 1-inch, I can't imagine 2-inch.
Oh, I mean the actual distribution cost to tie into our system for the
Oh, it's,
the amount of water.
$10,687.
And what is it, do you have any other numbers there? What's for like an inch and a half or something?
did he give you a copy of that?
Do you want a copy?
I'll get one, I just want
So 1.5 inches is 5,419.
2-inch for the car wash.
Yeah. So I had, they drew it in, sent it to them, so I don't know, I don't know where they are at. I don't know how a car wash can operate anyways. What do you do with all that water?
Don't they recycle it?
Well, that's the thing, I don't know why they need a 2-inch, because basically they keep a cistern and they refilter it and pump it.
Yeah.
So they shouldn't need a lot of water at any given time.
Right, so I don't know, it's up to them to figure out their business, not me.
And there's no real schedule on when that thing's supposed to be going, they're just trying to go through permits.
Yeah, he kept claiming like 9 months' time for, to get through Conservation Commission and whatever. I'm like, well, I've heard about that car wash now for at least 6 months, so I don't know what you've been doing, but
Yeah, Concom's not usually that.
no.
What about paving of the road since you're reconfiguring west to Lincoln and all that? Are they gonna be redoing the, that's right close to that area, isn't it?
That's right, that's why they
So,
need to do it now.
There'd be a
in
5-year moratorium on it if they were to do, and that'll be working this summer. So that road, for all intent and purposes, could be repaved this summer, then they'd be out of luck for 5 years.
Right.
So they need to make a decision now.
Yep, so they either put up their money or,
Wait,
yeah. Like the guy across the street, like the triangle between West and Crescent.
yeah.
He's putting it in 2 8-inch studs.
I mean, you do it now, then then you can go whenever you want. You don't have to
Right.
worry about it.
Right.
Of course, that assumes they actually get working on a 106.
3/31/23 is supposed to start, right? Here it is a month later in the sill.
Well, they're starting
Construction
stuff on the
started.
site, but
Yeah.
nothing on the,
Yeah, I don't know whether they're still waiting for the DOT to give them the approvals. I don't think they have approvals from MassDOT yet. And I don't know if that's what's holding them up.
It's been in the works for a few years now. I think that they,
well, yeah, they went to MassDOT, MassDOT took away the entry behind the Shell station.
okay.
And that was the last official DOT thing I had heard
Right.
about it. For the rest, I know they were working on it.
I still think they want to use that road. I thought it got taken away, but I remember seeing in some of the notes that they were going to be using that road. So I don't know whether it's just a haul road when they're constructing or.
Well, supposedly they canned it because it's too close to the on-ramp, or the off-ramp from
Oh, yeah, it's
24
right
up to
there.
106, so wouldn't think they'd let them use it temporary either. because-
No, I mean, it's okay for trucks going in, not coming out, but you're not gonna, an 18-wheeler is not gonna swing in off of West Center. and-
No, but when Chris sent out the thing about the truck traffic during construction, he had everything going, the pattern had nothing
Looping
going that
around.
way, it was all going through the intersection.
Yeah,
So, yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna hit Manly
Yeah.
to 106, take a right and go out to 138 or go
Yeah.
the other way. No go this way anymore.
no.
All right.
I've seen enough, I've said enough, I've heard enough.
Well, you say
Hey,
one,
I make-
you can say one
I'll
more
make a
thing.
motion to adjourn at
Yeah.
5:54.
I second that. All in favor?
Aye?
Aye.